We're live. We're live. We're live, honey.
Good morning, baby. How you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I am very good.
It's good that you're very good. I've had a good morning as well.
Good.
I'm looking forward to a good day.
Good.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking about focus, impacting, perspective.
Focus.
Thank you so much.
Impact and perspective. All right. We got a good topic then.
How is your focus impacting your perspective? Do they have anything to do with each other? Can you control them? We're going to talk about it right here. Back in a moment.
Good morning. My name is Brian McNeill.
And I am Lisa Santiago McNeill.
And thank you for joining us on our show, Let's Talk About It. We come to each Monday through Friday right here on the SIBN network, on iHeartRadio, YouTube, TuneIn, as well as Facebook Live. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Like. Talking about focus impacting your purpose today. Thank you for joining us this morning on Let's Talk About It with the Empowerment Duo. I am Lisa Santiago McNeill.
And I'm still Brian K. McNeill. And together we make up what's called
the Empowerment Duo.
Right. You guys are the dynamic duo, right?
No, the dynamic duo is Batman and Robin.
I think that's the one we get the most often. You guys are the dynamic duo, right?
Yes, we're not the dynamic duo. And the empowerment duo is not something that we assign to ourselves, actually. God assigned the empowerment duo to us.
What do you mean?
Well, before we even met, we were both conducting groups of empowerment for men and women in our separate cities at almost exactly the same time. Mm-hmm. And when we came together in 2015, that was the realization of an answer to God's answer to prayer. The prayer was, Lord, please send someone who is praying for working with the men as we are praying and working for and working with the women. And he showed up.
That's all part of the cool story, I think, of us.
Male empowerment networks connecting with women empowerment networks.
Brian McNeill connecting with Lisa Santiago McNeill
equals the empowerment duo. But good morning. Thank you for joining us from YouTube World.
Good morning. How you doing, great people?
What is focus and how does focus impact perspective?
Yes, focus, impact, perspective. That's what we're going to talk about today.
There was actually a scripture that I wanted to go to, but go ahead. You can share your thought.
Yes, focus, impact, and perspective. I talked to a coach just last night, and she was doing something. She's my client now, but she's already a coach, and she was doing something that I myself had been doing a little while ago. And she was complaining about her clients. She was saying she doesn't want individual clients anymore because they don't do the stuff I ask them to do. They don't do the stuff that they pay me to teach them to do. They just won't do it. And I said, now you're assuming that all your future clients won't do anything that you're suggesting. And she goes, and then she let it go. And she brought up again, yeah, but they won't. People say they're going to do it, but they won't do it. And I said, and this is the second time. And she did it the third time. Look, this is the third time. You're assuming that every single one of your clients is not going to do the stuff you tell them to do. That's why you don't want individual clients. You only want to do groups. As if groups going to do everything you say you're going to do. I said, but look, one of my coaches healed me from the same complaint I was in years ago. I was railing 2 years ago. And to one of my coaches, and he told me that, Brian, are you impacting improvement? Are you impacting improvement? And I said, yes, I am. He says, well, if you're impacting improvement, then you're doing your job. They don't have to do everything you suggest they do, but you have to make sure that what you do is impacting improvement. And that thought was revelatory for me, and it actually healed me to stop worrying about clients.
Absolutely. Thank you for your comment. Lady's comment is it lady or lady? And I don't know.
Lad.
Without focus, there is no perspective. Focus helps you stay on task and helps you to learn discipline. That is one point. That is one perspective. Without focus, there is no perspective. Now, the scripture that I was focusing on when I was getting into this particular thought process was Matthew 7:7. Matthew 7:7 says, you want to read or you want me to read?
I don't have it pulled up, but you can.
Matthew 7:7.
Oh, I know what it is. I know Matthew 7:7 on top of my head. It says, seek and ye shall find. Knock and the door shall be open unto you. For all that seeketh, findeth. Right?
Yes.
How to do?
You did pretty good. It's ask and it shall be given unto you.
Yes.
Seek and you shall
find.
To ask. Knock and it shall be open to you.
For all that seeketh, asketh, right?
Right, but that's beyond.
Yes.
Beyond.
But ask.
Oh, hey, Dr. Beverly. Dr. Beverly.
You got like aliases.
Lots and lots of them. Good morning, Phyllis.
Good morning, Miss Phyllis. How you doing?
Woohoo! So understanding that seek and you shall find, ask and you shall be answered, knock and it shall be opened unto you, is starting to create the focus that can bring about results. Amen. Now, focus is bringing about results. We're talking about focus impacting perspective.
Earlier this week, I told a terrific dad joke about how many people with ADHD does it take to screw in a light bulb? Answer, let's go play with our bikes because they can't focus, okay? That's the same thing. Let's go down this path. Hey, let's go play with our bikes. Hey, a butterfly. Okay, they're not able to focus. It's considered genius. I think it was Edison who said genius is the ability to focus on one thing. Or it might have been Einstein. That's what genius is, the ability to focus on something without losing enthusiasm for it. It could have been Emerson. I'm mixing it all up. But it doesn't matter. The point is still the same. Excuse me.
Understanding that focus can impact the results. Our talk today is about focus impacting perspective. Because oftentimes when something is right in front of us, we're only seeing it from one side. And from that one side, that is going to impact the perspective of that thing. You all may have seen the cartoon of the two people standing opposite sides of what looks like a handwritten number 6. Now, one person is standing on this side, one person is standing on that side, but what looks like a handwritten number 6, depending on what side you are on,
it's a 9.
The perspective could be very, very specifically different, a 6 or a 9. And those are two very, very different numbers. Therefore, no matter how hard they focus, no matter how clearly they look at this thing, no matter how they shake their head and clear out the cobwebs, as long as they stand in their spot and they look at this image, it's going to look like, and it is going to be what they said it is.
Well, that's the truth about it. This is a classic perspective and the vantage point. Where they're standing, they're absolutely right.
Yeah, absolutely right.
When you're standing over here looking back at that number, it's a 9.
All day long.
That's right. And over there, from their vantage point, it's a 6. It's clearly a 6.
Absolutely.
Okay, there's no debate about that. Okay, but that's why perspective and vantage point matter so much. Your perspective, even you in your own life, the way you see things now, you didn't see it like that 10 years ago or 20 years ago or 25 years ago. If you happen to be blessed to be over 50, just think about how you thought about the world when you were 21, 22, 25. It's entirely different than the way you see the world today because you've gained enough wisdom to have a better and a more mature perspective.
There would be only one way to get the person on either side of that numerical display on the ground to become convinced that the other person is actually right.
The only one way is
There's
to get them
only
to stand
one
over
way.
there with you so they can see it from your
From
side.
your perspective.
Yeah, that's the only way. Okay. It's like the old joke. The drunk man asks someone, "Hey, can you tell me how do you get to the other side of the street?" And he's said, "It's over there." I was just over there. They said it was over here. Okay. It's perspective, how you look at things. No?
Absolutely.
I was just over there. They
Good
said
morning,
it was over
Bill.
here.
Thank you for joining us this morning.
Now, you should probably be laughing right now at that funny joke. Good morning, Mr. William Brown. How you doing, sir? I hope you're doing wonderful.
Getting the person to the point where their focus and your focus bring you to the same conclusion, bring you to the same decision, and positively impacts perspective in the direction that you want to go is going to require you bringing them over to your side.
That's right. And the focus of that is today.
I'm sorry.
Where are we going with that? Because
I'm sorry. You're not. We're not. You're gonna have. I'm trying.
Okay, well, got it. So then let me lead. Then.
No, no.
You're trying to?
Yes.
Then go there.
I am going,
All right,
but I'm
wait.
taking a moment for people to understand what I'm saying.
Dun, dun. Go ahead.
Understand that in the case where, good morning, Dr. Deborah. We've missed you. Thank you for joining us this morning.
You missed Dr. Deborah already?
Yes.
She just left.
It's okay.
I miss you too, sis.
If you are the person in leadership of an organization and you're desiring to have your people, your team, your company, your employees to come to a certain end, to a certain goal, that place is where you want them to go, you can't just tell them where it is. Sometimes you've got to show them where you see it is so that they can see it from your perspective. When we get the perspective together, when everybody is on the same side of that number drawn in the sand and they see that it is indeed a 9 instead of a 6, then they will be able to understand the objective of where it is that they're trying to go. Now, if they're trying to make an item or make a number, make a sale, make a whatever it is, that's going to include this number as it is understood by the leader or the visionary as a 9, then it is important for that visionary to be able to communicate what vision it is that they are wanting to show.
Which is exactly the role of the leader.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to clearly communicate the vision, to be able to clearly communicate the direction, which is why I consider the ability to communicate one of the 2 most important skills in life. The ability to communicate is one, and the 1A is the ability, I believe, to sell, to be able to get someone to exchange money in exchange for your thing. The ability to sell, the ability to communicate, I consider paramount. William Brown says,
interesting. My morning walk on the beach was
bragging.
While on the beach, it started to rain, and my wide focus became very small because of the elements.
Wonderful, Bill. Interesting. On my morning walk on my private beach, I happened to overlook my yacht, and I started to notice it was starting to rain. And I noticed that my cashmere throw on my yacht had not been put below deck. So I focused and ran over there and put my cashmere below deck so that it wouldn't get wet. How about that?
Yeah.
So, Dr. Beverly says, how hard is focus for me? How hard is focus for me when I know what I want, but I also know my perspective is all over the place? That's why I need a coach. And you're not the only one that need a coach. And I appreciate your transparency, Dr. Beverly. We all do. I saw a wonderful special last night. I came in the room, Lisa was sitting up, so I told her about it. She was still asleep though, sitting up. But it was called The Sessions. And it was a story about Draymond Green having sessions with Deepak Chopra and this woman named Deborah, who was a disciple of Deepak Chopra, and how he went through guided meditations with them and how they did energy work on him and Reiki work on him and how he felt before and during and after. And it was so illuminating to me. Coming to self, Bill, just being able to get centered. And he's a very volatile person. He's always been that way in basketball and college and pros. He's one that's going to start junk, talk junk, start a fight, be in a fight, all of that stuff. Kelly Kells, what's up? How you doing? But he had never meditated before in his life until Deepak. His first meditation experience with Deepak Chopra. If y'all don't know who Deepak Chopra is, he's written amazing books about.
He's Oprah's coach.
He's Oprah's coach. That's all you need to know, really. That's enough.
Brand new to him, but he's my best friend's coach, so I know who he is.
Oprah's coach. That's about it.
Dr. Deborah says, I agree with you, Dr. Beverly. Many times I need someone to help me to see the vision more clearly. Absolutely. And understand it's important also not to just see the vision clearly, to make sure that your vision is coming from the right perspective. Because sometimes the interpretation of our vision is from the wrong side of the fence.
And to Dr. Deborah and Dr. Beverly, I would say to you, yes, you're right, helping you to see the vision clearly, but also think that the vision is a moving target as well. And your vision of a thing changes in direct proportion to what direction you're going. Perspective. So if you happen to be moving around this way, the way you see that thing is going to be different too.
And I honestly believe that because God in his infinite wisdom or the highest intelligence himself sometimes only gives us enough to focus on that we can handle. So we're not given the entire picture. If you think of the scripture that says, I look through a mirror darkly, it's not because he's trying to obscure it to you, but he's trying to just give you enough to focus on.
George Washington Carver is famous for the story of in prayer to God about what does his life means. I'm not sure how much of this has been mythologized or glorified, but he's praying to God, what does his life mean? What is his purpose here on earth? He has undergone some severe hardships throughout his life. And at that moment, while he was out in the field praying, he looked up and saw a peanut. And George Carver took that peanut as a first vision as God saying to him, well, George, the question you asked is a bit big. Maybe this is more your size. Okay, that peanut. And he went on to discover more than 300 uses for a peanut, more than 150 uses for an eggplant. Perspective. Okay.
Perspective.
I want to show you guys something here. What color is this? Can you describe this that's in my hand? If you would describe it, what would you say? You probably say it's gray and it's kind of like a sheer-faced rock. Okay, maybe a mini mountain or whatever you might call it. Okay, and you're right. What you're seeing is absolutely right. But the same piece that I'm holding in my hand, I'm not going to switch hands. I'm not going to use any sleight of hand. Okay, but look at it and really try to describe it. Now, if I just move it a little bit, you probably have to describe it a little bit differently, And if I keep going, so now you got a different description altogether. And if I keep going, now that's the same thing. Now, if you had left your description as it's just a flat-faced rock, gray, you would have been incorrect. But you would have also been correct too, because if I'd have left it like that, that's all it was. But just getting to see it from the other side, at least it was illustrating with the 6 or the 9 grown in the sand. You're right, depending upon your perspective. Now, from my perspective, it's just a gray-faced rock, okay? But right now, no, it's beautiful. It's crystal. It's purple. If you had to call it a color, you wouldn't say it was gray. You would say it was purple. Perspective.
It is. It's all about perspective. It's all about perspective. And sometimes you've got to shift what you're looking at, shift your position to gain better focus so that you can tweak your perspective.
Dr. Deborah Dunson, exactly. She says, yes, my vision has changed some since my move. Exactly. She changed locations. She changed states. She changed homes. And that move has caused her to change her vision some.
Absolutely. It does change your perspective. I found I have found that to be true often in my work. I have to physically change locations
Mm-hmm.
in order to be inspired or to be calmed and soothed and to be able to
You
focus.
used to say, just I need to get around a different energy.
Mhm.
Sometimes we need to be in a different energy in order for us to be better, even. Dr. Beverly also says,
Seeing the end for me is very exciting. Dreaming of the vision is very exciting for me. But to put it in words on paper for someone else to catch the vision and understand it, I have to work on that. It's
yeah,
quite possible that you need someone else to do that because you do that very well for other people. And I have found that I also do it very well for other people. I can capture other people's visions, but sometimes it takes a little bit more energy and effort to be able to capture my own vision. Maybe because I'm close to it.
it's
Imagine that.
it's what it is because you're accustomed to seeing old friend. You're accustomed to defending yourself. You're accustomed to not questioning yourself. Okay, you're accustomed to trying to make yourself feel good. You're accustomed to those things. So when you have to examine yourself, it's much more difficult. Have to describe yourself is much more difficult. How do I describe an old friend, the person I've been spending the majority of my life protecting? You know, and I'm not even sure if it's true or not, but I might dare say it's even more pronounced in men. It's more pronounced,
Focus impacting perspective.
Focus
Do
impacting perspective.
do you need to improve your focus or do you need to change your perspective? Which one is it in what it is that you want? Okay, so I am normal. Yes.
I don't know about
I don't know.
that.
We love you though.
What's normal anyway, really? And you know what? I don't even know if I'd want
Normal
you.
is overrated.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'd want Dr. Beverly to be normal, even let herself think she is. Not that she's abnormal, but that she's exceptional. Exceptional. Okay? She's not an ordinary anything. She's exceptional. The way she thinks, the way she comments, the way she catalogs everything that happens on this show and brings it up. It's certainly most, isn't it, Dr. Deborah? Dr. Deborah, I feel you could teach this class. Certainly it could be more some of both. Certainly. Some of column A, some of column B. Definitely.
Absolutely. I believe that all of that can be improved by adding different focuses and different perspectives.
Also, this is Wednesday. How's your week going so far? How's your week going? Um, and note we're going to do this now, but notice the second part of the second question, particularly today. Okay, Wednesday we call that evaluation day, and you're supposed to evaluate your week up to this point. Your week up to this point, and you're supposed to ask yourself two questions. Question number one is, what am I doing correctly, or even kind of correctly? You don't even have to be doing it 100% right, just kind of correctly. What are you doing so far this week that's correct for your business, or even kind of correct? The wobbly baby learning to walk from the table to the couch is kind of correct. It's not exactly walking yet, but it's kind of correct. So they're moving in the right direction. That's question one. And pay attention particularly to question two. Question number two is, if I had this time to do over again, based upon the perspective that I have now, if I had this time to do over again, what would I have done differently? Now that you've walked Monday and Tuesday up to this point of Wednesday, you've been through that already. You can look back on your past Monday and Tuesday, think about those days. If I had those days to do over again, what would I have done differently? Perspective. Because you didn't have the perspective you have now, you did not have Monday morning.
Right.
Okay, it's a different perspective. I'm also excited that tonight at 7 p.m., I'm going to be one of the featured speakers on the Black Speakers Network platform. They have these things now they call rapid fire interviews. And it's basically a 5-minute interview, rapid fire, 5-minute interview. That's all. And I'm going to be one of, I think, 4 or 5 tonight. I'm not even sure. People that are going to be rapid fire interviewed. It's really, really exciting when you see these amazing people doing it. These amazing people doing what they're supposed to do. I mean, what they do and doing it rapid fire, just boom, 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 boom. teaching, preaching, whatever they're doing.
Absolutely. I think it is amazing. I think it is a phenomenal way to get information out. Also, sort of a panel of experts, if you will, sharing their most notable nuggets.
Yes, yes. I was on a panel last Saturday. They got a lot out of us. Didn't you and I? Yes, we were. Well, we weren't on the panel this past Saturday. We actually spoke at a, I'm not even sure what you call that, a symposium, not a symposium, not even a conference, whatever we did. We had a speaking opportunity about the importance of publishing, the importance of capturing your story and publishing it in the form of a book, why you must do so, how your life is impacted when you do. You know, Lisa was the featured speaker, and I was the the warm-up for Lisa, and Bill was kind of like a bow tie, okay, for this weekend. But Lisa was definitely the featured speaker. It was pretty good too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So, do you have the focus necessary to gain the results that you want? And is your focus in the right direction? Are you looking at what you're trying to accomplish and what you have in which to accomplish it from the right perspective? When we're doing discovery sessions with my clients, particularly on the discovery for coaching versus publishing, we go through what is called the manifestation process. And in order to understand what it is that you have to work with, sort of the exercise it's been paraphrased or renamed as what's in your hand. But it started out as the reflection phase, because reflecting helps you to know exactly what skills and expertise and elements you are in command of.
Amen. I once did an interview for a podcast out of New York City. It was actually called the What's in Your Hand Show. And this guy was dynamic. He was right on kind of guy, all the way down, brother. But it was a great show. He interviewed me on a Saturday morning, I recall. This is before I even met Lisa. I'm so happy that Mark Greer is here today because I get to do my Mark Greer. So I'm happy about that. But the focus again. Mark Greer offers, it depends on what you focus on. Many people focus on things that are detrimental to them because they feel wronged. Some focus on things that are to their benefit. The common denominator is both are choices. It's like I told a friend recently, it doesn't really matter if the glass is half full or half empty. The focus should be on owning the glass. To your point, Lisa, in that case, it is about perspective.
It could be.
If
owning the glass is what you want.
That's right.
And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about perspective.
The classic example with the large glass jar. And I saw this done to me when I was in college. This guy came in and he had his table set up and he took out these big jagged rocks and he put them in this, and he dumped them into this large glass jar. And no more rocks would go in. He says to the class, "Is this glass full?" It was like, obviously, yes, it's full. So then he took out like a pitcher of smaller rocks and he poured like the whole thing in there. He goes, "Now you guys said it was full, but look, I was able to get all these rocks in there." He says, "Now is it full?" And we're like, "Yeah, it's full." And then he took out another pitcher of some sand, okay, and poured a bunch of sand in there. There was no way there was room for all of that. And he got all that sand in there too. So he's got the big rocks, the smaller rocks, and all this sand. Okay, all the rocks were jagged too, by the way. I don't know if that makes a difference. And all this sand in the same jar. Now, we were convinced after he put the little rocks in there, it was full. But then he got all this sand in there. And then he said, "Now, is this full?" And we ever said, "Yes, it's full." And then he took out a whole pitcher of water and poured the whole pitcher of water in there. We were floored. Okay, I was. Okay, and you can take a lot of different meanings about that. A lot of the different people are taking that different ways. Okay, but he knew it wasn't full when he put the first big rocks in there. We didn't know because he had the perspective of he knows how this is going to go. He knows what he's about to do next. But we didn't have that yet. He did. And then when we said it was full at the rocks, he knew it wasn't. His perspective was entirely different than ours. Okay. And also it speaks to when you think you had enough, you haven't. Or if you also, this also speaks to if you think you've done all you can still do more, to me.
That's right. It's all about the perspective. Looking at the circumstance. Sometimes perspective just requires that you roll it around and around and around in your hands. And actually, that's what I think about when I think about George Washington Carver and that peanut. I think that he needed something that he could hold. I think that he needed something that he could mull over. I think that he needed something that he could smell, because peanut has a smell. That not only could he feel it, he could taste it, he could smell it, he could hear it when it cracked. Sometimes perspective is about really getting to know something intimately. And that peanut was small enough for him to gain some full perspective on. He was able to put it in his mouth and taste it. He was able to smell it. He was able to feel it in its shell and then feel it outside of its shell, just like this. And I keep this on my desk for perspective and for energy. Actually, I received this from Dr. Deborah.
Woo woo.
And
Dr.
I'm
Deborah, shouts
grateful
out
for this amethyst because it is calming. And honestly, it is actually the both sides that are calming to me. It is the side that contains the crystal, but it's the smoothing side that is actually the rock that it was carved out of. So understanding that getting to know something intimately can bring about a new perspective.
You know, I listened to what you said, your perspective of what you suspect with George Washington Carver, and that made a lot of sense to me. Now, what I'm about to say is pure speculation because I haven't heard this, okay? I'm speculating. But he wasn't a very big man. He was a small man, okay? And he always spoke with a very high-pitched voice. And the reason why he spoke with a high-pitched voice, and he never married, and some people say he never had sex, okay?
Well, he was castrated, wasn't he?
Well, that's what I was going to.
I'm sorry.
When he was 12, he was accosted by a group of white men, and they castrated him at age 12. Okay, and he for the rest of his life spoke with a high. Now that's horrible, him to live through that. And he lived in the deep South. He knows he's been castrated. He knows he's a second-class citizen. He knows he has an intellect and an education, those two. But he's dealt with a really, really hard life. Most people don't know what it's like to deal with a castration. Okay, I don't. But he did. So when he got to this thing, this prayer of God, why am I here? What's the meaning of my life? And he comes up and he lights upon the peanut. That makes sense to me, Lisa's speculatory perspective. Good morning, Mr. Sporty King.
I call him my Sporty King.
Okay, call him your Sporty King.
He was already with me this morning.
Oh, my Lord.
And I had the opportunity to laugh this morning because I only just saw a text from him that I don't know when he said it, but he was basically sharing the fact that 9 o'clock in the morning is not my time of day.
Okay.
I am retired and I am living the retired life.
And he should.
And I love it. And I love it, love it, love it. But perspective, Sporty, your comment says perspective depends upon whether or not you're on the 6 side of the 9 or the 9 side of the 6. That was actually the first part of our
we opened today talking about that
this morning. That if you write a figure 6 on a piece of paper and put it between 2 people, ask what number they see, understanding that they can focus their eyes as much as they could. They could squint, they could do anything. They could stand on their head, but their perspective is going to be solidified by which side of that image they're standing on. And they cannot be persuaded otherwise until and unless they're able to bring the other person onto their side.
Absolutely. I want to pull up a classic story that I don't know well enough to talk
Hey,
about my head.
Shaki. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
But it's the classic story about the blind people touching the elephant. I know that story?
That's right, Sporty, and neither of them is wrong. However, that's not even what's important. Wrong or right doesn't even matter. It's which team you're playing on. If you're playing on the team that's supposed to get to 9 and the team leader or the visionary is trying to bring you to 9, then you need to first understand what a 9 is in order to get there. So he's got to bring you over to the side of the 9 before he can lead you to the objective of the 9 that you're trying to get. And the opposite or the converse is also true. Thank you, Shorty. Thank you, Sporty. Thank you, my Sporty, for that bam. When you get a bam, come on now. You know you're on to something.
Yep. There's these blind men that they all are led to different parts of an elephant. Okay. And they all are allowed to touch. There's one man, he's right at the end of the tusk. He says, reach out and touch that. He said, well, this is obviously a spear. And there's another man that's like right at the end of the trunk. Just go ahead and touch it. This is a snake. There's another man they have like up on a ladder and he touches the elephant's ear. So this is a large fan. And there's another man like around the side of the elephant. So they touch that. Well, this is a wall, kind of a rough wall. And there's another man that's right on one of the legs. Okay, right at the legs. Well, this is obviously a tree trunk I'm touching. There's another man at the tail of it. Well, this is a rope. Now, they're all right. Okay, but it depends on what you're touching on that elephant. They can't see it, but they think, and they're all right. One man says it was a spear, one says it was a snake, one says it's a fan, one says it's a wall, one says it's a tree, one says it's a rope. It's still the same elephant. Okay. Good story.
I think I got lost in there because you said all of them were right, but none of them said it was an elephant. None of them said what part of the elephant they were touching.
Because they didn't know until
they
touched
that's
it.
What I'm saying. So they weren't right. They weren't wrong, but they weren't right.
Okay, I'll go with you on that. Okay. But the guy who's touching the tip of the tusk,
yeah,
it felt like a spear to him.
Sure.
Okay. He couldn't see it, but it surely felt like a spear.
Yes, but the person that was touching the trunk was not touching a snake.
No, they were touching the trunk.
Right. That's right.
But it felt like a snake.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Beverly. Dr. Beverly was saying that makes so much sense in response to neither one of them is wrong. And that's also something that we can think about when we are endeavoring to be in a discussion with someone who has their own perspective on what it is that they're experiencing, their own perspective. If indeed you want to come to a consensus, the first step is determining what the objective is, not what your perspective is, or maybe that's part of it, but what is the objective? What's the goal? What are we trying to do? Are we trying to get closer to, just like with the glass half full and half empty? Are we trying to get the glass fuller? Or are we trying to get the glass emptier?
Well, it depends on how thirsty I am.
Exactly. Sporty says we always need more info as well as choosing the right messenger to lead you to that 9. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Using the right messenger. The wrong messenger will not be able to deliver the message the right way.
Absolutely.
And they won't receive the message the right way from the wrong messenger. No.
The wrong messenger is a detriment to any cause. And when we're talking about causes, we're talking about even in the way that you're attempting to improve a situation. Sometimes people that are very militant about something and they're really dug in and passionate about it, but they're on the wrong side of the spear, if you will. They're being used in the wrong way for the goal that they're trying to get. Maybe this person needs to be out front in front of everybody, moving them towards what's happening in the scenario, but they don't necessarily need to be the one making the rules or helping people to understand what's going on.
I remember one time I was chilling in my kingdom, and this messenger came from Xerxes. And the messenger came and says, I was like, what do you want, man? I'm running this kingdom here. I'm the king. My queen's right over there. What do you want? He goes, just 2 words, land and water. What do you mean land and water? He says, well, Xerxes is a god king, and he wants you to give him some land and some water as a tribute to the god king. That's when I led him over to this big hole, and I yelled at him, this is Sparta! As I kicked him into the hole. You see, because that messenger didn't deliver the message right. This is Sparta. Remember that, baby? That scene in 300?
Thank you. Sporty goes on to say, many tend to say, stay in your lane when they're in someone else's lane. Absolutely.
Whoops.
Absolutely.
That can happen. Whoa, you all in my lane. You need to stay in your lane. It's not a race to see who says it first. Okay, it's whose lane it is. That's right.
I'm a fan of 300.
300 fans love it.
I love the queen in 300. She is the queen you want.
You will not enjoy this. This will not go quickly.
She don't care. Whatever.
She's got to take care of her husband. She wants him to send soldiers to retrieve her husband. He told her, you're not going to enjoy this, and it's not going to go quickly.
That's all right, because we're going to win. I got this.
Yeah, and she did.
That's right. Dr. Deborah says, Sporty, that was a great point. Many tend to say stay in your lane when they're actually in someone else's lane.
Oops.
Let me go ahead.
I think about track when you say stay in your lane, running around the track and like a 400-meter race. You're supposed to stay in your lane the whole time.
But you don't.
Right. But you're supposed to.
Yeah, I know, but you don't. And I always felt that was unfair because I always felt like the person on the inside lane is actually running less.
And they elbow and they jockey for position, and especially in higher the level of the competition. Now, if it's over 400, you can get out of your lane. But for something under that, you're supposed to stay in your lane the whole time. Okay? But they don't. You're right.
They don't. So we do have a card. We're about 10 minutes behind schedule, but today's card is purpose.
Okay.
Purpose from the beauty cards. Purpose is, why are you here? What gets your juices flowing? It can be quite simple and may even seem not that important. What if your purpose is to fish or to play in joy? It does not have to be a big complex. It only has to be real and true. Following purpose leads you home. That is purpose.
Amen.
From the purpose card.
Sister Shaki says sometimes we have to learn to listen to the message and synthesize it and make decisions, even though you don't like the way the messages deliver the message. Are you telling me I shouldn't have kicked him into the hole? And it's also 9:42. It's time for us to thank our consistent contributors and thank the people that have been rocking with this show for a long time. The way we do it is with greeting songs and with greeting logos. And let's take it from the top.
And in response to Shaki's statement, I think we're losing a bit of that now, that there are less and less people that are feeling tied to being in situations where they have to be. And so, unfortunately, sometimes, and I'm trying to refrain from saying millennials, but I find myself gravitating towards that, don't feel that they have to be mindful of how the message is being delivered.
She also says we could miss a good message because we didn't like the delivery.
Yeah.
So it's wise to be careful of how you deliver a message, and equally wise to be careful how you use the message.
Or hear the message, she said, or I should say, hear the message.
Amen.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's find our way to the top.
Up first was Dr. Beverly today. She has a logo. Dr. Beverly is on the show. Good morning, Dr. Beverly. Miss Phyllis is here. Miss Phyllis is here. So clear the way. Miss Phyllis is here. Now we can all have a great day. Good morning, Miss Phyllis. Mr. William Brown is here too. Good morning to our friend Bill. Nobody thinks like him still. We love him so, and we always will. Our friend Bill. That's right. Now I gotta remember
Dr. Deborah, non-profit strategist and funding coach.
Now, Sporty's Jam was we came from Earth, Wind, and Fire, and it was from it was from Sporty. Prompt us again, man. We gotta do your song more often so to stick.
It had to do with words, and it had to do with the Body Eye song. Body Eye. No, it didn't have to do with the
It was from Boogie Nights.
It was from Boogie Nights. That's right, Boogie Nights. I like to just say Sporty's words. Oh, Sporty's words. Oh, Sporty's words.
That's pretty cool too. So I don't think that was it.
No, it wasn't. You did something else with it, but I like that, and I have been saying that to myself. So, anyway, Sporty, I hope you like that. Shocky's back.
Guess who's back? Back again. Shocky's back. Tell a friend. Shocky's back. Shocky's back. Shocky's back. Shocky's back. Shocky's back. I created a monster.
Sporty said that'll be fine. I think you ad-libbed and it was fine.
Yeah, she did ad-lib.
It was fine too.
Yeah.
Because I love your words and I look for your words and I embrace them. I definitely do. Today at 1:00 on LinkedIn, Sporty, I don't know if you also you're also broadcast on Facebook, but on 1:00 on LinkedIn, you can tune into Sporty's broadcast for today. I'm trying to remember what's the name of it.
It wasn't Boogie Nights. It was something else.
No, it was Boogie Nights. It was Boogie Nights. I know it was Boogie Nights, but that wasn't the song. That wasn't originally the song.
Okay. Well, Sporty's got something on LinkedIn today?
Yeah, he's got something on LinkedIn at 1:00 Wednesday. I know it has to do with glue because I love glue. God's love undoes everything.
And at 2:00 today, Dr. Deborah has something.
That's right.
She has nonprofit nuggets with Dr. Deborah Dunson at 2 p.m. right here, or right where you're watching this now. And tonight at 7 p.m., Brother Brian is going to be on the Black Speakers Network giving an interview tonight at 7 p.m.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Tonight.
Speaking of which, hey, Lisa, how do you make a tissue dance?
How do you make a tissue dance?
You put a little boogie in it. We're doing Boogie Nights. I'm looking it up.
I was just going to blow it, but you know.
You put a little boogie in it. You make it dance.
Tonight is Glue Wednesday, and you have to CYA again. So it will be at 1:00 p.m. on LinkedIn, and I look forward to seeing that actually. So thank you for that.
All right, so Sporty's at 1. You can go to him Sporty Show at 1. He'll probably be done by 2. You can hustle over and catch Dr. Deborah's nonprofit nuggets, and then give yourself a break and come back at 7 p.m. on my page and catch me being interviewed tonight.
It will be on your page?
I'm going to share it to my page.
You're going to share it to his page. So, Shocky, you'll be able to catch it on Brian's page. We're going to do something. Sporty says it's at 1, and it will be done by 1:45. Thank you. He is on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Absolutely. So you can catch that Glue Wednesday at 1:00 p.m. in your time zone.
My link is actually on my Facebook page right now. It's on the it's there now. You just scroll down my Facebook page, you'll see it.
Okay. I am terribly excited for I wonder what that really is one of those words that I think we don't use it the same way that the people use it, because we think of terrible as negative. But I just use it as a positive because I'm terribly excited about all the progress that I'm making in organizing our bedroom. And I will be organizing the remainder of the bedroom today. And then I will be organizing my office, because I just decided to actually take one of the rules that Brian has encouraged into his children. And one thing that I have heard said over and over again, that when a task is first
once begun, you leave it not until it's done.
So I actually accidentally embarked upon this endeavor earlier this morning, because I picked up and folded a couple of things that were draped across the chair. And then I decided, you know what, if I just pick up these couple of things, there's still a lot of other couple of things. So those couple of things are going to grow, and they're going to become more couple of things. Yeah, because they're going to invite other couple of things.
We have this little couch in our bedroom that sits at the end of the bed, and it can grow. It can get piled up with clothes. Okay, and Lisa completely cleaned it off and hung up wherever it needed to be hung up, and put in the drawer, and the dirty clothes where they need to put in dirty clothes. Completely pulled it off, cleaned it off, and I saw that. And as her loving husband, I thought it would be funny for me to just start throwing clothes on that couch that she just cleaned off. Wouldn't that be funny, baby? No, it wouldn't be funny. It would be nice at all. I decided not to do it. I didn't do it. I thought it might be funny at first. Okay. It would not have been funny, baby, if you had worked so hard to clear that off, and then you, like, the moment you come, you leave the room for 5 minutes, and I got 2 T-shirts on it.
It would not have been funny.
What would you have said?
I would have taken the T-shirts off, and I wouldn't have said anything.
But you've just been silently stewing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh! Well, it is Wednesday for
the show would have had one left.
It's that song, "In the Arms of an Angel."
No. The ASPCA song,
the saddest song ever.
That is like, I every time I hear that song, I think of Jim Gaffigan saying, you know, that was a really too sad a song. Like, they're milking it. They're trying to really get your whole wallet when you play that song.
Is that the same song they do for the Make-A-Wish
Foundation? Yeah. I don't know.
But for the children in Africa,
but
and then it showed the most pitiful dog, and oh god,
it's the saddest song.
I can't handle it. I gotta change the channel because the dogs are starving or choking or something. Someone had left the leash around their neck or been badly battered. The dogs are obviously scared. Oh, can't handle it.
Ladies and gents, we're short a host today because
Brian had jokes.
For once.
I always got jokes. I told Lisa a joke this morning and last night. The one I told her last night was, who does a pharaoh call when he's sad? Who does a pharaoh call when he's sad? He calls his mummy. Get it? Calls his mummy.
Yes, Shocky, them dogs be raggedy.
Oh my God.
I think they find the raggediest dogs to parade across the screen.
And if the dog is not hungry enough, they starve it. Okay? Put it on this and hose it down or something. Terrible.
It is. But, you know, we hope that you can focus on impacting perspective by determining if your perspective is the one that is getting you to the objective. Yes, he is live.
This is the first morning I've been this live. Can y'all believe that?
Anyway, hope that your perspective.
I've never been this live before on the show, right?
Leading you to your objective. Take time to examine your focus.
Think about today. You have an opportunity today. You got the rest of your day to make something happen. Isn't that exciting? You're blessed to be able to make something happen with the rest of your day if you want to. I know Sporty's in retirement mode, but I can't imagine him not doing nothing all day. Come on.
Well, he'll be back at 1 o'clock.
That's right.
Like how they find the flies for all the starving children. I was just sitting here thinking about that. And why come nobody don't do this?
Why does somebody fly away?
Why come nobody would just do this?
Why don't the cameraman give that kid a sandwich?
Anybody, anywhere.
The cameraman standing right there.
Those are some well-trained flies.
Yeah,
because they actually sit in frame. Okay? While you're at it, in all you're doing, don't forget to have sex.